How I Learned English Fast While Working Abroad. My name is Victoria, and this is the story of how I learned English while working abroad. I was 21 years old when I left my hometown in Ukraine. I had just finished college, but I did not know what to do next. My English was very basic. I could say, "Hello, how are you?" and "My name is Victoria." But I could not really have a conversation. Still, I dreamed of speaking English fluently because I knew it would open many doors in my life. One evening, while scrolling the internet, I found a job offer in Ireland. It was for a small cafe in Dublin. The cafe needed someone to help with cleaning tables, washing dishes, and sometimes serving customers. The pay was not high, but the job offered free accommodation. More importantly, it was in an English-speaking country. I was nervous, but I applied. 2 weeks later, I received an email. "Congratulations, you got the job. Please come to Dublin next month." My heart jumped with excitement and fear at the same time. I had never been outside my country before. When I arrived in Dublin, everything felt new. The streets were busy, the buses looked different, and people spoke so fast. I could not understand much. At the cafe, the manager welcomed me kindly, but I only understood half of his words. I smiled and nodded, hoping it was the right answer. The first week was very difficult. Customers spoke quickly when ordering coffee. Sometimes I gave them the wrong drink because I misunderstood. I felt embarrassed. At night, I sat in my small room close to tears. I thought, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should go back home. But the next morning, I decided not to give up. I told myself, I came here to learn. Every mistake is a lesson. I started to listen more carefully. I kept a small notebook in my pocket. Whenever I heard a new word, I wrote it down. I learned phrases like to go, extra milk, and no sugar. At first, my notebook had only single words. After 1 month, it was full of whole sentences. I also began watching English shows with subtitles. Every evening, I watched a short comedy series. The jokes were not always clear, but I kept trying. Sometimes I laughed a little late, but that was okay. I was learning to connect words to emotions. At work, I asked my coworkers to correct my English. Most of them were friendly and happy to help. When I made a mistake, they explained how to say it better. For example, one day I said, "I washed the table." My colleague smiled and said, "We usually say, I wiped the table." That small correction stayed in my memory forever. 3 months later, I noticed a change. I could understand customers more easily. I no longer felt afraid when they spoke quickly. My answers were still simple, but they were correct. I even started small conversations, asking, "How was your day?" Some customers liked my effort and encouraged me. One elderly lady often visited the cafe. She said, "You are improving so fast. When I first met you, you were shy. Now you speak with confidence." Her words made me proud. I realized that progress was possible if I worked hard. Outside work, I joined an English conversation group at the local library. Every Wednesday evening, people from different countries met there. We practiced speaking English together. Some were from Spain, some from Brazil, some from China. All of us had the same goal, to speak better English. The group became my second family. We laughed at each other's mistakes and celebrated each other's progress. Together, we went on walks around Dublin, speaking only in English. At first, it was difficult, but step by step, I grew more confident. After 6 months, something amazing happened. The cafe manager asked me if I wanted to become a cashier. That meant I would take orders directly and handle money. It was a big responsibility. The manager said, "I see how hard you work. Your English is good enough now. Would you like to try?" I was nervous again, just like when I first came to Dublin, but I remembered my promise not to give up. I said, "Yes, I would like to try." The first day at the cashier desk was scary. Some customers were impatient when I took too long, but most were kind and patient. I repeated their orders clearly. 1 cappuccino, 1 croissant. Is that correct? By repeating, I made fewer mistakes. Each day, I got faster and more confident. 1 year passed quickly. By then, I could speak English well. I was not perfect, but I could tell stories, joke with my friends, and understand most conversations. Sometimes I even helped new workers from other countries who did not speak English well. I shared my old notebook with them and said, "Don't be afraid of mistakes. They are your teachers." One evening, I sat by the river in Dublin thinking about my journey. I remembered my first week when I felt lost and hopeless. Now I was part of a community, earning my own money and speaking English every day. I thought, if I can do this, I can do anything. 2 years after arriving in Ireland, I decided to study again. I applied to a local college to take business courses. During the interview, the professor asked me questions in English. I answered with confidence. At the end, the professor said, "Your English is strong. I think you will do very well here." Walking out of the office, I felt proud tears in my eyes. I realized how far I had come. I had started with only "hello" and "how are you?" Now I was ready to study business in a new language. It was more than I had ever imagined. The lesson. My story shows that learning a language takes time, courage, and patience. At first, everything feels hard. You will make mistakes. You may feel embarrassed or shy. But if you keep trying, listen carefully, and practice every day, you will improve faster than you expect. The moral is simple. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Every mistake is a step toward success. With hard work and persistence, anyone can learn a new language and change their life.